Hey, it's Sammy and Natalie here, and welcome to the Anxiety Compass, where anxiety isn't the enemy, it's our tour guide. We'll swap stories, share tools, and have a laugh while we find our way back to true north. Come along.
We are back for part two. We've touched base on fats. We've touched base on proteins. My brain's not working now. And we've also mentioned the reason why food affects the nervous system. So we've talked on blood sugar and anxiety, the gut-brain axis, also looking at sensitivities, PCOS. We didn't even mention, like, if you're intolerant to something, it causes inflammation. We could be here forever. But
like the fermented foods and stuff.
Yeah. So like even looking at FODMAPs, like that's another story. But basically, I mean, we could go down any pathways here, but we want to really get to the core of what this episode's about.
Exactly.
And it's giving you ideas on what to eat. So I like to call them slow carbs, Nat, not just carbs, but slow carbs to help stable our energy. When I think of carbs, I think this is going to be energizing for my body. This is going to make me feel amazing. My brain's going to be like, thank you. Yes, please. It's really great for thyroid health. Like, it's great for hormone production. I just feel like they've got such a bad rap now. And I really want people to understand that carbs aren't just bread. There's other forms of carbs that we're missing when we give up carbs. And this culture of keto diets and carnivore, it makes me a little sad for our bacteria because they're not getting all these wonderful things in. Your nervous system loves steady fuel. It doesn't want you to drown it in fuel. It likes a drip tap. And this is where slow carbs come in. Now, what is your go-to carbs? Like, for me, I think when I think of carbs, I think a fistful is my maximum. But quite often, sometimes, depending on what time of the month it is for me, I'll just have like half per serve, half a fistful. You can gauge sort of your limits for carbohydrates, because if you have a fistful and you feel really tired, or perhaps you have a fistful and you're in the fridge 20 minutes later looking for more food because it's just, it means you've overdone it, or it could just be a really bad habit you've gotten yourself into. But some slow carbs, Nat. One of my go-to carbs is sweet potato.
I was literally about to say that. Literally.
I love it. I love it baked. I love it mashed. I love it roasted. You name it. I still have white potato, but sweet potato, I find, I'm not demonizing white potato, and I'm not racist for the potatoes. I like all the colors of the rainbow when it comes to potatoes. But what about rice? That one's a hit and miss. I actually had a small child ask me, should I be eating white rice or brown rice or quinoa? And they were in grade 3, and I was like, why are you asking me this? This is a food eating disorder, but starting to blossom here. I eat basmati rice. I'll have a quarter of a cup to half a cup of basmati rice when I have.
Basmati rice is known to be lower GI than
the jasmine. And sushi rice is just, woo, that's a sugar. Like, people go to sushi because it's nutritious, but the sushi rice, if you're having a lot of it, it can push your blood sugars out massively. So be mindful of that, people. Brown rice. I don't love brown rice. It's not.
Yeah, it takes a while to get used to because it is quite a different
texture. And I'm not just that. I find a lot of people eat brown rice because it's more nutritious for you. But if you've got gut issues, it can be harder to digest.
Also, it could still have all the herbicides and pesticides on it because it's still
soaking it, rinsing 100%. It, get all that off. The same with we were talking about legumes before. Rinse all the crap off those.
Rinse them, and quinoa, rinse them.
Oats. You said oats.
Depends
on how the oats are, though.
Steel cut oats, organic steel cut oats are great.
If you're having one of those quick sachets with cut
exactly,
oats,
and soak
that's sugar overload.
And soak them as well. When growing up, it's funny how so many things I was in tune with my body and what to eat. I used to have, oats of a morning, but I used to soak them. And my family used to paying me out saying, you're so weird. Why do you have it soaked? And I didn't know. I was like, I don't know. It felt better in my body. So from the
Yeah,
age of
you're
about 4 or 5, I
digesting.
was soaking my oats.
Yes, it's sometimes and these are processes we've done for
Yes.
thousands of years, and all of a sudden we do everything so fast now that
Yeah.
we need to
You
have
get
that
those
process.
sachets
Go
of
back to
oats,
it.
sachets of porridge, and chuck it
Yeah,
in the
I know everything's so
microwave. And
quick. I don't love quinoa. I used to eat it a lot, but it doesn't love me. So listening to your body is important.
yes,
What about bread? Now, when I'm out, I tend to not start my day with a lot of bread because it does make me feel
no,
tired. But when I'm out for breakfast and that with friends, I'll often have sourdough, which is, baked at the place and it tastes amazing. I find the one that you get from just a supermarket, the Helga's brand or whatever brand it is, it's not
yeah,
sourdough.
no,
They call it sourdough, but it's
yeah,
not.
no,
Sourdough is delicious. It's got great things in it that are fermented that are great for your gut. Going to release into your body a little bit slower. But it still is quite a heavy carb. So not having two huge pieces of sourdough like they serve at
no.
the restaurants.
Yes, and I could take that further. You could have like as rye bread. So I
Mm,
put my patients on rye sourdough because rye is
rye
really
sourdough.
great for as a butyrate, specifically a
Mm,
butyrate producer. So which we will go
mm.
into when we do a whole big deep
Yes,
dive on
all
the
the
gut.
wonderful
But it's
chemicals that
very,
our body
yes.
loves.
So if you want to take it
Yes.
that step further, rye sourdough.
And everything has carbs in it. Like you think of the fruits and veggies, and I often throw in with slow carbs,
Yes,
I think of starchy veggies. So things like corn, carrot, anything that sort of grows sort of in the ground that
yeah,
has that starchy consistency,
yeah.
pumpkin, those kinds of things, peas,
Potatoes,
peas as
peas.
well,
Yeah.
but then also fruits. And I often tell people when I teach, we look at fruit juice and we look at fruits, and they go, well,
Mm,
it's 100% apple juice, so it must be great. I said, but you've removed all the fiber. So as you're drinking the fruit
exactly.
juice, it's actually going into your body really quickly, and it may be nutritious for you, but the sugars from the fruit are entering your bloodstream at a rapid pace. Once you
Yes.
remove all the pulp and everything, so when you're eating an apple or berries or a pear or kiwi fruit, you're eating the whole thing. And so it's slowing down as it enters your body as opposed to drinking it. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
pairing it up with some fats is really good. So maybe a small handful of nuts with
Yep.
some fresh fruit
Yes.
is great.
A little
Yeah.
apple pie thing, maybe without the pastry, is having stewed apples with some
Mhm.
Greek yogurt, sprinkled with some cinnamon.
Yes.
Simple,
Oh, you're
but
making me
so
hungry,
delicious and
Nat.
nourishing. I know I'm actually.
I know, I'm hungry. So when I think of my plate, I think of my plate. Half of my plate is all the nutrient, nervous system, lovely nutrients, like all your non-starchy greens, non-starchy veg. So think of things like lettuce and broccoli, all those kinds of things. And then I have sort of a fistful of my carbs, whatever they are, whether I'm deciding to have potato or maybe some pumpkin or maybe a bit of both or some rice. And then I have my palm of protein. So whether that's a chicken or a steak, and then my drizzle of fats or sprinkle of fats on top. This is how I sort of set my meal up. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just sort of a base plate of, I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
that all the time. I'm not that strict, but it's going to
No,
get you
but yeah,
feeling
I'm the
pretty good.
same.
And the
Yeah.
closest to nature, the better. And I know that's hard sometimes, but I think going back to meat and three veg sometimes is a winner, right? Well, how we
Uh-huh.
used to
Yeah.
eat. Because the
Yes.
ultra processed carbs, I like to think of them when you have them, they are so refined that the sugar goes straight into your blood, whether it's a packet of chips or whether it's a packet of Tim Tams, the sugar goes straight into your blood. It gives you an anxiety spike. Your kids will
Yeah.
have zoomies. If you've got a dog, you know what zoomies are.
Or a
And
cat.
adults get palpitations, panic. So your kids are running around excited and you're freaking out about everything just from having too much processed food. So the more you can create this nourishing, beautiful bowl or plate or snack,
Mm.
the better you're going to feel. I often say you get 35 choices a week. So if you're having three main meals a day and maybe two snacks, probably more for some of us, you get to choose at 35 times a week. Like the more
Yeah.
choices that you make that are nourishing, the better. I mean, you're not going to be 100%, but some people like
No.
to do the 80-20, whatever
Yep.
works for you.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go have a chat. We talked a little bit on nutrients. So things like magnesium rich foods. Magnesium's a big one to
Yes.
try and get into your diet as much as you can. If not, look
Yeah.
at supplemental form. Most people who are anxious, I find, are magnesium deficient. What are
Yep.
your go-to sort of magnesium rich foods? I know we've mentioned chocolate before,
Yeah.
cacao.
Yeah. Dark green leafies. So your silver beet, your spinach, pumpkin
Yeah, you can put
seeds,
them on the side.
avocado. Again, love my avocado. Some
Yeah.
pumpkin, some banana. They're the top
Mm,
ones. But yeah, green leafies. Just get them
the green
in stir
leafies.
fries. Like it doesn't have to be anything. Yeah, as we said, big and fancy.
Yeah.
Do up a stir fry every night, and just
And
choose a
that's the
different
thing.
protein. So it could be
Well, I
chicken one night. It
mentioned the
could be
plate.
tofu. It could be beef.
Yeah, just swap it out. I
Just
mentioned
swap
the
it out.
plate, but I didn't mention that the flavor bombs, lemon, lime,
Oh
salt,
yes,
pepper, all the herbs, all
yes,
the spices. Have
yeah.
some fun. It doesn't have to be steamed veg with a
No.
piece of meat. Like, come on, people, get excited about
Yeah,
these
exactly.
things.
Exactly.
But yeah, magnesium, the more magnesium you get in, the more you're going to relax your muscles. It supports GABA production, which is
Yep.
our calming neurotransmitter, the one that I was lacking when I had panic attacks.
Yep.
And it's going to
Same.
calm your fight flight system and bring out that rest and digest as much as we can. The
Yes.
second thing I like to include are B vitamin rich
Please.
foods.
Yeah.
I find they all seem to be the similar foods. I never
They
say
actually
B
are.
vitamin rich, and I don't mean B vitamin rich foods like a cereal that's had folate
Oh
added
no,
to it,
no, no.
or
Yeah.
that they're synthetic and they're not real. So if
Yep.
you're an anxious person, it can actually trigger you because it's the wrong
Yep.
wrong form of
Wrong.
nutrients you're putting in the body.
Yep.
That tends to be why I don't have a big bowl of Wheat Bix every day because I'm an anxious person
No.
and all of the synthetic. I mean, it's okay every now and then, but if I have it every day, it builds up in my system. It ain't
Yep.
good. So B vitamins you can get again whole grains if you eat grains, getting them in whatever way, shape, or form. Legumes. Do you say
Legumes.
legumes or legumes?
I say legumes.
I've heard someone say legumes. I'm like, that's
Oh.
weird. Beef and eggs. B
Yeah, eggs.
vitamins for energy, focus, mood stability. Even things like fermented foods.
Yes.
They can trigger me, but they can be very nourishing for people to build up quality bacteria in their gut, which is really good for mental health. Do you
Yeah.
eat fermented foods?
I do now. I didn't. I tried when I was, changing my diet, but I had that histamine response.
Yeah, well, that was what I was going to say. It
Time.
sets off histamine, which leads
Yeah.
me to anxious feelings.
Yes. But I did a lot of work on my gut. I was like, oh, I can't. But now I can. But again, in moderation, if I go
Yeah.
overboard, my body goes, oh, this isn't great. Apart from yogurt, my body loves Greek yogurt,
Oh,
but
yeah, I can do
have
yogurt.
too
Yeah.
much of
And a
the
little bit of cheese.
sauerkrauts or kimchi,
Kombucha. Yeah.
kombucha, miso, all those sorts of things. Just
Yeah, I
in
did
mod.
all of it. That was my problem. I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
fix my gut. I'm gonna have all the
I'm gonna have it
things because I never
all
do things
all
lightly,
at
if you've
once.
noticed.
No.
I go all in. And if you like me, don't do that because it's not great. I was fermenting things on the counter. I was having kombuchas instead of
Oh wow.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it backfired.
Yeah. And even
Kimchi, I
having
can't eat
kimchi.
kimchi. I like it,
No.
but too much chili can set me off with
Yeah.
histamines, and then I get
Yeah.
rosacea around my face.
Yeah.
I'm such a pleasure to eat with, I still eat all the things, but I think
Me
once you
too.
know your body, you know it's not, and it's definitely not orthorexia because I'm not avoiding them for fear of dying. It's like I
No.
literally don't want
No,
an
no,
itchy
no.
face and I don't want to feel
Yeah.
anxious right now.
That's a good reason
Yeah.
why you don't want to eat it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I'll pick some other
Yeah.
things. Electrolytes are really important as well.
Right.
I actually take an electrolyte every day. It's the MTHFR one. I find when my electrolytes are out,
Yes.
I feel dizzy. Um,
Yeah.
I get
Of course you do.
really low blood pressure, um, making sure I'm getting those in. So things like coconut water can be
Coconut water.
great.
Literally,
Yeah.
that's what I make my smoothies on. Coconut water.
Yes. But being careful not to overdo it with coconut water like I did, because it actually is quite high in sugars as well.
Yeah,
And you
natural
can get
sugars, yes.
diarrhea from too much coconut water.
Yes, yes. No, just one glass a
Salted
day.
water, adding some
Salted
salt into your
water.
water,
Yeah. A
quality
good
salt,
quality, yeah.
not
Sea
table
salt
salt.
or Himalayan salt, 100%. That's what I put.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I put all of my patients on,
If you've
no
got low
matter
blood
what.
pressure and dizzy, yeah, it could be a
Lemon, yeah.
salter out.
Warm lemon
Mm.
water with a pinch of good quality sea salt. That's how they start their day. That's how I start my
Mm.
day. Yep.
Yeah. And I find that seems to be a big thing for people. They forget because a lot of people are told salt's really bad for them, so they avoid it. But
Yes.
magnesium's a salt, like the minerals are salts. Like people don't realize
Yeah.
that we're made of salts.
We
And
need
if your
salts.
salt levels, exactly, and if your salt levels are out, like potassium and sodium are constantly, going in and out. My mum,
In and out of the
I'm sure
cells.
she'll love
Yes.
me for sharing this, but my mum has issues with keeping her potassium levels up. And she has a
Mm.
banana every day now, making sure she's getting her
Yep.
potassium in. But
Yes.
if her potassium levels drop, it's dire straight. Like she can end up in the
Mhm.
hospital
Yeah.
from really, really low blood pressure. And when your blood pressure's low, you get head spins when you stand up. You can
Yep.
have sort of, if you struggle with panic and anxiety, it can imitate that feeling and
Yeah.
sensation. And just simply adding some more salts can correct that. So you don't think you're
Yeah.
dying throughout the day and spaced out.
No. You can
Yeah.
even be like I was really low in both sodium and potassium.
Yeah.
And I used to get dizzy just sitting there. Like all of a sudden have vertigo just sitting there and going,
Yeah.
I haven't even moved. And all of a sudden be like, well, I'm going to pass out.
Yep. Yeah. We need these
Oh,
people. We need them. And not just water. Like if you're just drinking water all day long, and you're
no.
drinking a lot of water because water's great for you, right? But you can overhydrate with just
Yes.
water and flush
Can be
all those.
dangerous.
Yeah, you can flush out the potassium and sodium in your body,
Yeah.
which is not what you want. Being mindful with electrolyte powders, though, some of them are full of weird artificial crap. So looking for
Yeah.
a natural one, go to your health food store and look for if you are going to take an electrolyte powder. I wouldn't recommend some of the electrolyite drinks like Powerades
No,
and
no, the
that. They're
common ones that you buy in
yeah,
the
they're
supermarket.
going to
No.
sugar overload.
Yes. Yeah.
Not great. Um, yeah, so your magnesium and sodium levels drop when you're stressed, which can trigger
Yep.
anxious feelings. So that's definitely one
Yeah.
that a lot of people haven't considered. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we sort of give ideas on lunchbox ideas is portion sizes and the sequence in which we eat our food as well, which we mentioned briefly in another podcast. I find if I overeat, that's a massive sugar hit for my body, and it's a lot of
Mm.
pressure on my whole digestive system. My energy is really low. I get fatigued, and I feel really anxious just from overeating. And when
Yeah.
you're anxious and sometimes a bit spaced out of your body, you don't have that connection of when you feel full. And sometimes you overeat because you often when you're anxious don't eat, you don't eat enough. But I'm the other end where I
Yeah.
overeat because I'm disconnected from my feelings and sensations. And it's sort of a comfort thing for me. And I don't know when to stop until I feel really sick. And then an hour later, that's when the blood sugars just go, "Boof," and I just feel like shite.
Mm.
So making sure you're not putting pressure on your body. You can get heart palpitations and all sorts from overeating. It's not great, people. So please be careful not to do what I do and overeat.
And then the
How do you feel when
undereating.
you undereat? Because you get cortisol
Yes.
spikes when you undereat too.
Exactly. I was going to say that it raises your cortisol and your and adrenaline because your body thinks there's a threat from a lack of fuel, so it goes into that fight or flight response.
Mm.
It triggers that stress response. So eat to
With the
80%,
Chinese.
8 to
80%.
80%,
Yes. And
and that's
what
what
would
you
that
should
feel
eat
like?
for. Yeah, well, exactly. What does that feel like for
Mm,
you? And eating slowly. Like it should
mm,
take you at least 20 minutes to eat your meal because that when we eat fast, our gut brain axis, it can't keep up. So the signal from our stomach to our brain takes quite some time to send that signal to say, oh, hang
yeah.
on, my stomach's full. So eating slowly.
Yes. I love when I talk to you. It's like when I'm editing our podcast, you're so beautiful and slow and breathy. And then I'm like this talking. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, we're so beautiful together, Sammy. It's the yin and the yang.
Yeah, so eating portion size. So portion size, and also
Mm.
making sure, so we said a palm of protein, a fistful of carbs, a thumb of fats, what else was it? Half your plate. And what size is your plate, really? Half a plate of all the
Yes.
non-starchy veg thrown in there as well. So if you're having a big plate of let's say curry, which I often eat, and you've got a
Mm.
cup of rice, and then you've got your store-bought Indian, which was probably full of sugar because they really sweeten those. And then perhaps you've got your naan bread on the side. Like you're probably going to feel really tired after that. That's a lot of carbs. But if you throw in some, depending on how you eat it, if you have a lovely salad before you eat all that, you're going
Yep.
to fill yourself up a little bit more. So the sequence in which we eat veggies,
Yes.
protein, then carbs, is going to reduce your glucose spike by, I believe, 35%, which is
Yep.
a significant
It's
amount. So
significant.
I'm not
Yes.
saying that you have to have this perfectly proportioned meal every night. Gosh, we
No.
live in reality, right? Especially if you've got kids. I'm saying perhaps reduce the amount of carbs going in if you're feeling tired, or look at the sequence in which you're eating. Eat the veggies first, people. Save the
Yes.
good stuff till
Absolutely.
the end. So people listening are thinking, okay, I get it. So can you give me some ideas, some go-tos? Because I don't have time. Time is of essence to me, and it's the most valuable thing in my life. And I don't want to spend 4 hours a week
Yeah.
in the kitchen organizing
No.
stuff. Like it's we're living in reality here, people. What are some things like that, some tips that you do? I often in the past, I would sort of make all the things and have them ready to go in the fridge and just quickly create things. Like I would
Yep.
have rice ready to go, brown rice ready to go. Maybe I'd make some salmon and sweet potato cakes and have them sitting in the fridge ready to go as a snack. I
Yes.
would often do a whole tray of just veggies and roast them. So I'd have roast veggies in the fridge for the week ready to go.
Yep.
And then you'd have all your needs and suts, your seeds and nuts ready to go, and pre-boiling eggs. We often
Yeah.
eat out of convenience.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, number one go-to, especially for snacks, once a week, boil up a whole bunch of eggs, keep them stored in the
Mm,
fridge. You've got a go-to snack for the entire family. You
mm.
can combine it with a couple of, some cherry tomatoes or something if you want to. I just have them plain. I literally just grab a couple and we'll eat them.
Yeah, I'll do a plate. I'll just get a plate with
Maybe,
whatever I can, just do a selection.
yes,
Yeah.
a cottage cheese, having some
Mm.
cottage cheese with some cucumber.
I break out when I have cottage cheese, but I know it's very
Just
nutritious.
having a few sultanas. I went through a period. In fact, I was in my 20s and I went through this period of eating cottage cheese with tuna. These were sandwiches, tuna and sultanas. And it was
Oh,
like,
that's a bit
it was only a
weird.
few sprinkles. Yeah, I don't know. It was nice. I actually haven't had it for a long time, but
Now I'm intrigued. I'm very
I know,
intrigued.
right?
Well, I
Yeah.
have little pots, because I find for me, I like to have the beautiful little things that I can pre-make because I make a heap of stuff for four, and I've got three
Yeah.
boys in my house. And so quite often I will buy a big thing of Greek yogurt and I'll just portion it out into all the pots. And then I'll
Yeah.
top it with like a muesli or something with nuts and seeds.
Yep.
And then I'll top it with frozen berries, and they'll
Yes.
defrost in the fridge, and then a
Yeah.
bit of cinnamon on top, and I'll have them all stacked up ready to go at the top of the fridge,
Ready to go.
and they'll last
Great.
3 or 4 days.
Or a snack. Yeah, absolutely. That I do
Yeah.
that working and I know I'm
Or
busy.
even smoothie snap lock bags in the freezer, so in the
Yep.
morning I can just chuck it in and whiz it up ready, add a bit of almond milk or whatever and whiz it up ready to go. There's just being organized is key, and it does take time to do that, but like, don't overcomplicate it. Like, you don't have to make all
No.
these fantastic things, like just the basics. And
Yeah.
pre-cutting on the weekend all your veggies ready to go, which is a big habit that I've gotten into because I do that for my workshops. I have pre-cut fruits and veggies for kids to try.
Yeah.
And so I'll have them all sit in there. So when the kids get home, like I'll have a few different dip options, but they'll have, cut up capsicum, cucumber, all of that
Yeah.
ready to go.
Or make up some, savory muffins or slices of
Yeah.
a frittata that you've made at home so you know what's in it. They're a great little
Mm.
snack or lunch idea that when you're on the go, or even a breakfast, like a good quality homemade savory muffin. Grab it
Yep.
and go.
I buy the mountain bread. Sometimes I don't know if you've heard of the mountain bread. It's the really
Yes.
thin. I get the rye one, and
Yeah.
I'll make rolls and cut them up and have them ready to go. So I'll do like a little bit of
Yes.
my kids love the cheese and like turkey, or I'll do chicken and cheese or tuna and something, and I'll roll them up and I'll have them in the fridge. So they've got these tiny little wrap like sushi roll things. I do that. So they're getting
Perfect.
lots of things in. On a Sunday, I actually do like I'll do a Greek feast and I'll do like a massive tray bake of Greek lasagna or something, and I'll portion it out and freeze it because my eldest is always hungry. And that's his go-to before he goes to Kung Fu, because he's about to burn a lot of calories by being at Kung Fu. So he'll load up on that and then he'll come home and have another piece. And I think it's trying to find the time on the weekend or even once a month where
Yeah.
you can be in the kitchen for a couple of hours and put some music on and enjoy yourself, and maybe think
Yeah.
of some things that you can cook and freeze, like nacho mince, like, or like a chili mince that you can pull out
Yeah.
in portion size every Tuesday and do something with it. I also do theme nights, Nat. So like I'll do
Mm,
Tuesday night is Mexican, and so we'll either do nachos or tacos, or we build a bowl like a Mexican bowl.
burrito
Building a
bowl.
bowl is
Yeah.
great. You think of a theme, do a Japanese bowl, a Greek bowl, like with a bit of souvlaki, and throw in a little bit of lemon potatoes, or like there's just so many cool things when you think of a theme and you
Yeah.
just sort of base every night of the week. Like we'll do an Indian night, a curry night once a week. We'll rotate, and sometimes I'll double it and put it in the slow cooker if I do like a butter chicken for the boys, and I'll snap lock them. And this is the thing, like people overcomplicate it. You can make those delicious things that you buy as takeaway, but you get to pick what goes in it. You get to pick what oil
Exactly.
goes in it. You get to pick what meat goes in it. You get to pick what veggies go in it, and you know exactly what's in it. Not too much salt, because some of them are way too salty. You know what
Yeah.
kind of salt you're putting in. It's quality salt. And then you get to portion it out properly on your plate, and you often don't overeat. And it ends up costing you less because
It does.
you've sort of done portions and know exactly what. Do you find, and this might not be for you, but I find also what a problem can be is when we eat the dinner table and we have everything out pretty on the table, self-serve. I overeat in those situations. And I know it's
Yeah.
fun. It's a great way to try and slow down and learn your body, but also it's the temptation of eating really fast and loading up on everything that's on the
Yeah.
table.
Go for
It can be
seconds.
dangerous.
Yeah.
So having a portion size plate is really helpful in those situations until you get used to slowing down and listening to your body
Yeah.
as well. What about when you go out, Nat? Do you take food with you when you go out?
Oh, look,
What?
yeah, look, it depends. When I'm going to work at the crystal shop, yes, I do. If I'm going out for the day, yeah, I'll often have some little snacks in my bag, in a little Ziploc bag, like some homemade protein balls or some apple grapes or something like that, just so that I'm not tempted
Banana.
to, stop in somewhere and get something to eat, something fast if I'm hungry,
Yeah.
if I need that little
Do
snack.
You can, like, I mean, I was out yesterday and my mum and I got these rice paper rolls that they had like cabbage and chicken in there. There are options you can get. Well, I mean, I'm not saying you can't eat out.
No,
Obviously, you can, but if you're being conscious about your mental health and you're feeling a bit, and you want to nourish your gut, the home cooks is always best. But if you are struggling with time, don't bring in the anxiety and panic into worrying about nourishing yourself. There are ways you can cut corners, like you can buy pre-made salads and just dress them yourself, throw out whatever the crap dressing is that comes with the salad,
yeah,
because it can be quite inflammatory, and just pouring a little bit of olive oil and lemon juice on top. And then maybe if you're getting a chook, like there are ways to cut corners. There's
yes,
panic and anxiety involved with keeping up with the Joneses, and stop looking at what other people are doing in their homes too, because their lives are different to
yes.
ours. So I'm going to throw in a reflective question because these episodes have been quite long. If you're listening, what is one food or habit that you can add in this week to help your nervous system feel more supported, whether it's changing the way that the order that you eat your food, or maybe throwing a little fistful of carbs on your plate. Maybe you're stressing about weight loss and you're just having salad and tuna. What happens if you throw in a little bit of brown rice or something in there? Will that steady your blood sugars a little bit? Interesting. Or maybe add a bit more fat into your diet. And so you're going to make yourself a little mix of seeds and nuts to carry around with you and have every now and then. Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe you need to get more electrolytes into your body. Maybe that's what you could do this week. Would you like to add anything else in there, Nat?
I think we've been quite thorough as much as we can in these short podcast episodes.
Yeah, I think that the main message we want to get across to you guys is to really understand how important it is to get nutrition into your body through food and just be present with what you're putting in your body. It can really impact on anxious feelings and be positive or negative, either way.
Yeah.
I often find we don't do what we do when we know what we know because other things get in the way, like people pleasing. My mum rocked up with a hot chocolate and a piece of cake for me yesterday morning for my grandma's birthday. And I just kept picturing my blood sugars going all out of whack and me feeling sick for the rest of the day. So that was the people pleaser in me eating that. But also I put some boundaries up and said, I need to have a cup of tea, not a hot chocolate, but I will eat the cake. So we're gonna talk a little bit about people pleasing, whether it's a kindness thing or a survival strategy. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for joining us on the Anxiety Compass. If you love this episode, share it with a friend who needs a little laugh and a lot of calm. We'll see you in the next one. Keep following your true north. Disclaimer time. Sammy and Natalie may be clinical nutritionists, but we're not your personal doctors. What you hear is for learning and laughing, not diagnosing or prescribing. If things feel bigger than you, call your doctor or local support line or reach out to a qualified health professional. They've got your back too.